I'll
He
be in
was
a
also not.
hideout.
Yeah, Tamaki.
I didn't say
Yeah,
shit.
it was not Tamaki who was talking. That was me.
I mean, well, what's his name? Ichi. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Damn.
Okay. That W slander. You're black, nigga. You work on a field.
This Negroid ain't talking. This Negroid ain't talking. There's no way.
NTR, you get whipped for a living, nigga. Shut your ass up.
Nigga,
Anyways.
point your ass to the nearest cotton fields and go back to where you came from, bro. Oh my lord.
You are max prestige in picking, my nigga. Wait, we're off point.
Bro,
Anyways,
you're like level 99
Hurry
cotton
up,
picker, bro.
damn.
My
I'm
god.
just chatting.
Anyways, NTR, what does your character win?
Do you want to go over stats first, or do you want to go over hacks first? Like, what is this? I don't even know how strong your character is.
What's your premise?
I don't know. Via following standard battle assumptions. You want to use character stats or versus battle? I don't know. They're barely different.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we'll just use character stats then. Standard battle assumptions. Following that, my character should win. You know.
Yeah, I'll follow the same thing. I think my character just like beats up yours because he's like Timothy. You know how it is.
All right. Specifically beats up, by the way. I'm kidding. I'm not a dickhead. Anyway. Okay. Do you wanna scale first? Do you want me to scale first?
I mean, you can scale first, sure.
Sure. So like, bam, Eggman, right? Kind of a goat, right? He says the Chaos Emeralds are able to create realms that able to like that transcend dimensions, right? He's someone who's researched the Chaos Emeralds for years, and he was using them in this game in order to create that Eggman land that transcends dimensions. So
it's
Sonic
4D?
is power. No, it should be 5D because he knows about places like Imaginary World, which is just called 4D.
Can you prove that?
Bet.
Yeah.
Bet. Yeah, so you have the Imaginary World, which should just called like has a realm within it called 4-dimensional universe. So yeah, does that mean we just got kicked in put back?
So
it's blurry, but I cut it out. Scan is lame.
So the emerald has a power that transcends dimensions. Like, what's the context of this?
It's able to create a realm that just transcends dimensions. That's the context.
Okay, I know, but like, what do you mean transcend? Like, what do you mean? You know that the word transcend has like a bunch of definitions. Like, what does it necessarily mean? Like beyond or like transcend?
Well, what about what is stated implies the other definitions? Because
what is stated?
internally, right? Transcend, right? You can acknowledge that it can mean a bunch of other things, but within the context, he just wants to create a realm that he specifically states transcends dimensions. There's nothing that implies that he's moving between them. I'm continuing my sentence. I'm saying multiple things. There's nothing that implies this is a realm that I don't know, goes beyond other realms or something in terms of like moving, something like that, like traversing dimensions, right? Stuff like that. So it can only really mean transcend in the sense that it's somewhat beyond them in terms of a dimensional case. Right.
Wait.
I'm saying that nothing really points to like
in the context
traversing.
you're saying it could be like above. Like you're saying he creates a realm that transcends dimensions. It could just be like above the other dimension. It doesn't have to be necessarily like transcendental in the way you're taking it. Like
what do you mean by above then? What do you mean above the other dimensions?
Okay. So you agree that if you're like beyond an object or like outside that object, that would qualify as transcend. Like you're beyond it.
Beyond it? No.
Yes, beyond. Why not?
If you just mean outside the others and like I'm outside my house, like then no. Like I don't necessarily agree with that.
Transcend can just mean like surpass like the limits of something or just like be beyond the limits of something. It doesn't have to necessarily entail that you're transcended to like a dimensional degree. So you're saying that he creates this realm that transcends dimensions. Why can't it be like a realm that's just outside?
Okay, I understand that. Yeah, transcend can just mean to surpass something in terms of something, but that it's still as a term, it still implies you're doing something to surpass that thing. So if I'm just outside my house, right? If I'm just literally physically placed outside of my house, it's not transcending the house because it's not like I moved away from it. It's not like I moved out of its vicinity. I am just positioned outside the house. That's not transcending.
Wait. Wait, you surpass
Like
the
when you
space
say
of the house.
go
Wait.
beyond, right? Mhm.
You're beyond the space of the house. Like you're outside of the space. You surpass that space. You're like literally
No, you didn't
beyond the
surpass it.
space
You're
of the
already just
house.
outside it.
Okay. So transcend can go beyond something. Being beyond the space of a house can qualify. So why does it necessarily entail that's a dimensional transcendence rather than contextually you could just say he's
Wait,
beyond this
dimensional
thing, therefore
transcend
he
like
transcended.
you have an issue with the idea it's a dimensional transcendence specifically? It's referencing dimensions. Like,
No,
I
a
don't within
dimensional
the sentence.
transcendence. Wait. I'm saying a dimensional transcendence in the context of higher dimensions, not such as like, oh yeah, you just have another dimension that's just like next to or etc. I mean, like it has to show that it would be like a higher dimensional transcendence.
Well, within within the statement itself is like the entire point is that he's creating a place that transcends like dimensions. Like it's not like he's saying it like, oh, he's just creating another dimension. Like no, he literally is creating a place that transcends dimensions. So it's
Yes, he's
like it's not
creating
just
a
he's
space
going
that
outside
transcends.
them. It's not that he's just creating something that like he's just creating another casual average dimension. He wants to create a
Yo,
land, a realm, right, that transcends dimension. So
yo,
he's
NTR.
creating it in an impressive sense. It's
And
not just a general thing of just like, okay, it's just like every other dimension or realm. It's just like separate from another dimension or realm. He's stating it
yo,
within the context of the
NTR.
statement as an impressive sense. It's somewhat beyond, right, in like
Wait,
actual
NTR, are you
impressive
saying
way.
are you saying that it wouldn't be an impressive feat to say that you're able to create a realm that is like outside of a series of other realms? That would be impressive in of itself.
In context to it being a realm, no, I don't think that's impressive.
Okay, why wouldn't that be a test? Okay, why wouldn't that be impressive when you can say that most people or most characters are unable to do things like this? Like,
Okay,
obviously,
so
creating something that wait, when you're
mhm.
trapped, when you're like inside a universe or inside that space, when you create something, it's usually gonna be in that space. So it would be inherently an impressive
I don't think
feat
a
to
universe would
make
be in another
something.
universe.
What do you
I don't
say?
think it's normal. I don't think it's normal. I don't think it's a normal like thing for a universe to just be in another universe. I think it's normal for universes to be separate from each other. That's
No,
why it's
I'm
not
saying that when you
impressive.
create
That's why the
something,
idea
no,
of
I'm
it
saying
transcending that's why the idea of it transcending dimensions becomes makes would be then not impressive because if it's just a place that is just naturally supposed to be the way it is, but he's just then restating that fact as if it is impressive. That means obviously the definition that you're referring to probably isn't what he's referring to either because he's treating the quality of transcending dimensions about this new realm he wants to create as something specifically impressive. So if it's just another
wait. I'm
dimension, if
saying
it's just
that what I'm
another,
talking
if it,
about is impressive.
I'm still talking. If it's just
Okay.
another
All
dimension,
right.
right? If it's just another
Okay.
casual realm, right? And it's not doing anything impressive by just being separate from other realms. If that's just how realm, it's just how dimensions are. The universes are not supposed to be within each other. Dimensions are not supposed to be just trapped within each other. That's not a normal thing.
Okay, NTR, there's a problem here. You realize that it would be
Hmm.
impressive because when you create something, it would be within the space of a universe, right? You're just inherently within that space, no matter what you create something. So it
You
would be
think universes are
impressive
just?
wait.
Mm-hmm.
NTR, let me finish, nigga.
Go
Anyways,
go
as I
go
was
go
saying,
go go.
it's impressive to create a universe in and of itself. Like that alone
Mhm.
is an impressive feat. So you creating a space that is inherently outside of a space as big as a universe would also be inherently impressive. You haven't showcased why this would be like a feat that would be like impressive compared to like the bounds of what these characters can do. Because I can go to say that a normal human they can't create something that's that large, obviously, or it would be
Mhm.
an impressive feat. So creating something beyond that space would also be an impressive feat. You have to contextualize why this would be impressive.
That's why I stated before that within the context of the fact that it's already its own realm, then it wouldn't be impressive. Because that's why I asked you the question, can does is a universe just naturally within its own within a universe, right? Like,
I
no,
mean,
universes don't just naturally I'm still talking. Universes don't just naturally appear within. If you disagree, you can say that, but let me just finish the sentence real quick. Universes don't just naturally appear within each other or inside other ones, right? Right. That's the big
obviously not.
that obviously doesn't work like that, right? So if you're saying that a dimension, right? Obviously, you're thinking in context, he's referring to dimensions as in realms or universes, right? They're not naturally just within each other. They don't naturally just exist inside of each other, right? So if he's saying that it is a land, a realm that transcends dimensions, specifically quoted as a significant quality, he's obviously not referencing it as a fact of the matter that it is just another realm.
Okay, NTR. I don't think that went against the
Like,
point. As
do you want an
I said,
example? Do you don't understand what I'm saying? Do you want like an example, like outside
no,
of
no,
just
I know what
universes?
you're saying.
Even though I think
Yeah,
universes
I
gets the
know what
point
you're
across.
saying. I know
Hmm.
what you're saying. You're just not giving like actual good refutation because what I'm saying is that creating a universe in of itself is impressive. You said that universes in of themselves they wouldn't contain other universes. I'm saying that if you
Okay,
create a
yeah, keep
universe
going.
in of itself, it's impressive. If you create a universe that is outside that inherent space, that would be even more impressive because when you create something, it would be inherently within that universal space. So why would this feat be impressive compared to like the contextual of what these characters can do within the series? You're not actually showcasing that. You're just
I'm arguing that I'm arguing that, that specific specification isn't necessary because I'm arguing the fact that he's specifying this as an extra significant quality. So let me put this in terms of another thing, right? Let me put this in terms of another thing. Let's say I say let's say I built a house, right? But then I add on to that sentence, I built a house outside of other houses. What's significant about that second part of that sentence? Nothing. Houses are just
okay. Wait,
naturally
wait.
outside each other, right? Houses don't just
That's
naturally
like
exist within each other, right?
W
That's not
disanalogies.
a normal. I'm still talking. That's not a normal thing, right? So when I reference the fact that a house is just outside other houses, the significant part of that sentence is insignificant and it doesn't matter, right? Obviously, there's no reason that in character Eggman would say such an insignificant and irrelevant statement. That's why I say dimensions or realms or universes, right? Naturally existing within each other is not an that's not a thing. They don't naturally exist within each other. So him saying that he just transcends dimensions in context to it just being another dimension outside of it, right? It makes that second part of that sentence irrelevant, and it makes no sense like within the context of the fact that he's stated it's a realm, a land that transcends dimensions, right?
NTR.
Like, yeah, I don't
You're
feel like
first off,
yeah, getting you.
that analogy, disanalogous, nigga. Do not ever
Why
say
is
that
this
again. First
analogous?
off, you're creating. Wait, wait. You're creating a house. Both houses are within the same fucking space, my nigga. As I said earlier, when you create something,
Oh
it would
my
be within
god.
the universal space, obviously. So if you create something that's outside of that space, that would be impressive. Because one, if you create something, it's always going to be within the universal space that you're in, nigga. So this nigga's creating something that's beyond that space, which would be inherently impressive. Like I don't know if you don't understand
You,
my point
your
or
argument
like
entails your argument relies on the idea that it's already its own dimension. Like what? Like your argument makes no sense if if what you're arguing that it's already its own dimension. That means it wouldn't be within the same space of the other dimension. That's what I have an issue with. Like your argument already
okay, okay.
entails it's outside the
Are
dimension.
you saying Eggman isn't within a dimension when he's saying this? Are you saying that?
No, I'm saying that in your own argument, you're relying on the idea that it's already its own dimension. Like what he's creating is already its own dimension, and the fact that the fact that he's stating that it transcends dimension is now becomes irrelevant. Like
Okay, okay.
if your argument entails that it's already its own separate space, which is what you're arguing, if you're saying if it's already its own dimension, then it transcending dimensions is not is no longer a relevant significant quality or sentence, which obviously makes no sense for Eggman to say it. I'm saying that in context to the fact that Eggman is saying that this realm transcends dimensions, and obviously it's something separate from the fact that it's already its own dimension. I'm saying like
Okay,
that's what I'm
okay.
pointing out here. That's the
You're
issue I'm
saying it's
having.
not a significant quality. I already like showed like 30 times why it would be a significant quality, and you never like refuted
Oh my
why.
god, yeah, continue.
Okay, wait, NTR, you never refuted why. Okay, first off, I pointed out why creating like a universal size realm itself would be a significant quality. And I said that, oh, he's creating this realm that's like significant compared to a universe, right? Or it's like a space that's outside the normal space of a universe, which it is of itself would also be impressive. I'm saying that a normal thing, or at least an impressive thing like creating a universe, is also impressive. And what your character is doing is creating another space that is contextually outside, which would also be impressive. So if creating the universe is impressive, and the other thing, what he's doing is outside this space, which he would be in, that would also be impressive. Because it's literally impossible for you to create something within a universal space, uh, for it to be like outside that fucking space, nigga. That's literally impossible. No matter what you create, it would always end up within that universal space if you're within the universal space. So if he's creating something that's with outside of it, therefore contextually it would be impressive. So anything I said would be significant. You're saying that, oh yeah, he's creating another universe, so it's not significant. I said creating a universe in of itself
Not
would
what I
also
said.
be a significant quality, which you never win against.
Significant quality of what? The universe or Eggman? Eggman's talking
Uh,
about the universe. The Eggman's talking about the realm he's creating when he says transcend dimensions. He's not talking about himself creating it. Like your argument
what?
right now, you now shifted the argument from the actual qualities of the realm to the quality of Eggman creating it, which then now that it's no longer about the sentence at hand. Then
No. My argument attacks both. Actually, it attacks the
no, it
quality of the
doesn't.
realm and the significance of the sentence.
No, it doesn't. Because if your argument
It
is that
definitely does.
If your argument is the fact that talking about Eggman creating a realm specifically is impressive, then you're no longer talking about Eggman's statement about the realm itself. Eggman is talking about the realm specifically when he says it transcends dimensions. So he's not talking
Okay,
about the fact that he's creating a realm. He's talking about the fact that the realm itself is already transcending dimensions.
Dog, NTR, my argument is that the realm he creates, it's not necessarily transcendent of dimensions, and that him creating the realm in of itself isn't an impressive feat. Okay, I'm saying that in context, this feat
Mm-hmm.
would be impressive within verse, sure, but within cross verse, it wouldn't be impressive because I'm saying that, well, he creates this realm that is outside of like the normal universe, sure, but it would be significant within your verse because he's creating like this external realm, which I'm attacking that it wouldn't be transcendent higher dimensionally. It would be transcendent like externally, obviously. And then I'm attacking his sentence itself too, about how he presents itself as significant. I'm attacking both at once.
So what about what you said addresses Eggman's own statement? You just talked about Eggman creating it.
What addresses that? I'm saying that Eggman, he creates this thing that's external. This thing that external, he explains it in a significant way. I'm saying that it would be significant inverse, sure, but in a cross-verse setting, this wouldn't be a significant feat. I'm saying that it would just be like something that would be like low multiversal at most.
What? What are you okay. So you're saying Eggman, okay. Eggman says that this thing can create realms that transcends dimensions, right? You're arguing that he's talking about this in terms of it being external to other dimensions, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if he's arguing, like and then you and I stated before that my issue with that is that if you're arguing that it's already its own dimension, right? That means that as a quality of it being its own dimension, it is not attached or within the space of the other dimensions, right? I pointed this out,
Mm-hmm.
right? So him stating that it transcends dimensions as a separate quality of it that he is stating is significant, a significant quality of this realm, right? It's highlighting the fact that this is a quality that this realm specifically has. It's something that it's impressive about this realm, right? Whether or not it's impressive in verse or cross verse is irrelevant, right? Within Eggman's own, actually no, in verse it is important, but the way you're arguing it is your argument makes no sense, right? Because in verse, what Eggman is saying here is that compared to other dimensions, it is transcendent. Okay, and if you're just arguing that it's outside other dimensions, so obviously that makes no sense because that's just how dimensions are naturally, right? So if you accept that the fact that Eggman is treating it as significant, it can't just be the fact that it's its own dimension because that's already a quality all
Mm,
dimensions already have. So that's
not
like that.
necessarily.
Not necessarily why.
I think that dimensions can hold other dimensions. I think that uh that can be a quality a dimension can have. It doesn't have to be okay. If you have like a universal size dimension, it would be obvious that it would be able to hold like another dimension of a smaller size. I don't think they would be have to be inherently separate from one another. I'm
Hmm?
saying that them being separate from one of another is a quality. It is an impressive quality within inverse because we obviously know if you create something, it would be within the universal space while it's you're in that space.
Create the
So
growth.
there's
Specify
nothing that
something.
defines it.
Specify something.
What do you mean something?
Specify something because obviously if you create a ball, obviously a ball is going to still be in the universe you created. But specify something. What does something include?
Okay. Something includes whatever you create in that space will be within the space that you created, unless it's like a matter that, unless it's something that isn't, let's see, isn't physical or like spiritual, right? I think that a
Yeah.
conceptual thing wouldn't necessarily be within that space, obviously, but
So you
something that's
know.
spiritual or physical would
Mhm.
inherently be within the space that you created in.
Okay, so you know what universe means, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
all of
Let's
space
see.
and time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're saying that he's creating two sets of all of space and time, and they're just inherently within each other. That's a normal thing.
What? What do you
A
mean?
universe is all of space and time. If you're saying that he's creating two, the normally universes just within exist with each other, then obviously that's an issue because universes don't naturally exist within each other.
No,
Because
no, no. I'm saying that you can.
by
No, I'm
definition,
saying that.
universes are all of space. They are their own spaces. They're a
Wait,
separate
wait.
thing, right? Like
NTR.
you know
I'm
how
saying
like,
that him
mhm.
creating a universe in of itself is impressive.
Okay, you're going back to that, but then you just try to explain why that wouldn't be that would be an inherent quality of a universe would be that it can contain other universes, and I'm saying
No,
I'm
no.
having
I
an
said
issue.
it could contain.
I'm
Wait,
having
wait. I'm
an
saying that
issue
it
with
could
that.
contain. Wait, NTR. I said it could contain smaller dimensions. Don't straw man me, nigga. I
Yeah,
said it
it
could
contains yeah.
contain.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it could obviously contain smaller dimensions that aren't universal in size, which is
Aren't universal in
obvious
size. Okay, so
because something that is universal can obviously contain something that would be like fucking door size fucking dimension. That would
okay,
be obvious. That would be an inherent quality.
doors aren't defined as all of space and time though. That's the problem. Like, like obviously
A
you can go
dimension
around and say
doesn't
like a
have to
door
be
and
defined
all
as
that,
all
but when you say like a dimension or a universe, right, in colloquial terms, obviously to different fictions, how they treat the term dimension, right? Because obviously you're arguing that in context here, he's using dimension in a colloquial term to refer to like parallel worlds or something, right? Or like some other like realm or something, right? Then
Wait, wait,
that's where the
NTR.
issue comes from. That's where my issue comes from because you're agreeing, you're asserting this idea that these different, already inherently separate spaces, by definition, these all of spaces, right? Like these separate
Mhm.
individual spaces exist individually, can just exist each other naturally, which is not. I'm disagreeing with that internally, right?
Okay, why? Why do you think a smaller dimension can't fit within a bigger dimension?
Because if you're using it in the colloquial sense of it just being its own like universe or parallel world, then it obviously doesn't work with by definition because a universe is all of space and time. Inherently,
Wait,
they
wait,
would be separate.
wait. So colloquially, you're saying a dimension would inherently be a universe, right?
I'm saying you're using dimension. Okay, what do you mean by dimension here then? If you're not using it by the
I'm
colloquial
saying that
sense,
okay, a dimension can just be like let's see, it can just be like a different realm. It doesn't. It could be of any size. It doesn't have to be like a universe. It could be like just a different realm. It could be like fucking a door size realm, star size realm, etc. It doesn't have to necessarily be a universal sized realm. A dimension itself has like many definitions that you can use. You don't have to necessarily use the definition that it is a universe.
I have an issue with that because Sonic inherently treats dimensions as if they're not referring to spatial dimensions as they do in this case, then they're referring to dimensions as in terms of parallel worlds. They don't use dimensions in terms of like smaller like insignificant realms as like you're trying to treat it.
Uh, why wouldn't that be the case? Are you saying within Sonic there has never been another
The more you
realm that you
insert,
call dimension?
the more potential ways of referring to the word dimension you insert into the scene, then like the more like evidence you have to establish to prove those other things. Because obviously
No,
like
no, no. I'm asking
dimension
where
as
in
in like
Sonic
obviously.
do they not use?
Mhm.
I'm asking where in Sonic do they not use the other definitions of dimension? Because dimension can just reference like
Okay, do
areas of
they not?
space.
Then
It
I
can
can't.
reference smaller realms. It can reference many things. It doesn't have to necessarily
Okay,
be a universe. I'm just
you can't
inserting
say
the
negative. I'm
possibility
saying
that
that
the
within the
definition.
series. I can't. You can't prove that when do they not? Because that's like when do they
No,
not
no,
use the
no,
term of a
no.
word, right? That's it's
NTR. I'm
weird.
saying that I'm just inserting the possibility that it could be a different definition for the word, and you're not like going against that. Like it could be It could possibly be like in terms of it could just be another realm. It doesn't have to be a universe. Let's say for instance you have like a realm of a star.
Within this
That is
game, they
not
only
being.
ever within the game that this statement comes from itself. They only ever refer to either parallel universes or spatial dimensions. They don't they don't talk about like these like really insignificant
You
like
said
extra
you
realms
said
from other
what?
fictions, right? Like
You
because
said
like
it only talks about
these
what?
fictions like fictions usually when fictions usually utilizing dimension to have these different like possible colloquial definitions. It's like a thing those specific fiction other fictions do. So I'm saying Sonic hasn't done that. They only either ever use dimension to mean special dimensions, or they use it to mean like universal size realms, which is like these like the
Okay,
main two
wait.
definitions of
You're saying
universes,
they only
like
use it
universe
for what?
dimension,
Spatial dimensions and
and
parallel
like
dimensions. Is that
universal
it?
realms. Yeah,
Okay, okay. What do you define as like a spatial dimension?
spatial dimensions, a dimension of space.
Like okay, just a dimension in space. Like what do you?
When you add a spatial dimension, you add like a potentially a potentially beyond like infinite more mass to an object, right? And then in terms of
Okay, so
that,
you're
right? Like
defining it as like
length,
the
width, height, like
the extra
length, width,
axis.
height.
That's
Yeah,
what you're defining it as, right?
yeah.
Okay, the extra axis in space. Okay,
Mhm.
so why in Sonic Okay, how many times they mention this like spatial dimension thing? Because in context, I could just apply the possibility that this means that it's just another dimension within space, etc. It doesn't have to be like an extra axis.
When in
An extra
context,
dimensional
literally, like
space can
one
obviously
of
be
the
like
main
a
villains,
parallel space.
one of the main villains of the verse Solaris, literally, like the main reason that they say that the characters can't interact or defeat his physical form is because he's super dimensional. Like
Because he's super
that
dimensional.
was an Eggman statement as well, by the way. A consistency for Eggman
Wait, wait,
using it
wait.
that way.
Because he's super. Wait, wait. You said they can't interact or defeat his form because he's super dimensional. Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean by super dimensional? Like, can't this just imply that they can't defeat him because his real body would be elsewhere? He's an extra dimensional being.
Because they're like they're literally fighting in the shattered. They're all stated to be in the shattered space time. Like, what are you talking about?
Also, I swear Solaris is also stated to be like throughout space and time. Couldn't that also be possibly why they can't kill him
No,
because he's literally like in the past and in
we know that isn't the case because like they're able to beat him by just fucking up his mind, which obviously would also exist without space and time. So the problem isn't the fact that he exists throughout all of space and time. The problem is the fact
Wait,
that
wait. Why does his
he can't
mind
interact with his physical
connect to
form.
like? Wait, wait. Why does his mind connect throughout like what I just said? You just said they can't fuck him up like physically or kill him because he's super
Mhm.
dimensional. I'm saying that. Oh yeah, he's throughout space and time. So there's obviously no way to kill somebody who's out throughout space and time or mess with them. So wait, wait.
That
So they mess with
hmm?
him on a conceptual level, right? They mess with his mind. They mess with him mentally, which
Yeah.
wouldn't
After
like
they
fuck
defeat
up.
phase one by destroying his armor, he forms into phase two, which they can't fight physically, so they just mess with his mind.
Okay, so they mess with him conceptually. Conceptual things are like, do you believe that conceptual things are bound by like space and time? You think that?
Hmm?
Do
No.
you think that concept? Okay, okay. So if a conceptual thing isn't bound by space and time, and they're messing with him conceptually, then it's plausible to say that they just mess with him conceptually because they can't mess with his body, which is throughout space and time. That wouldn't necessarily
Oh.
denote that they all wait, wait. That wouldn't denote that he would
Mhm.
be a higher dimensional being. That would just mean that he's throughout space and time, can't fuck with him physically. So we like fuck with him conceptually. That's fine.
No, I'm like if you're referencing if you're trying to say that because okay, so you're saying that the fact that he exists throughout time is like what the reference is super dimensional. Is that
Yeah,
what you're
yeah,
trying to say?
yeah.
Okay,
I'm
no,
saying
they
that.
reference both things in the same sentence as separate things. So no, I can just pull up that scan if you want.
And they okay. So wait, wait. If they reference both things in the same sentence, why can't you use one to like
Separate
connect
things.
the other?
If I say someone is black and fast, I'm not saying that he's black. He's fast because he's black. I was saying he's black and he's fast. Like what? That's what I'm talking
Wait,
about. I say that
you
he
say
reference
separate?
both those qualities as separate things. I'm not saying that they're both referencing both those qualities as the same thing.
Okay, okay. So you're saying that him being throughout space and time is super dimensional is different. Okay, I'll just
Yes.
assert that the possibility is that his body is extra dimensional, which in context would just imply that his body wouldn't be in the same space as they are, right? Because it's throughout
Prove
space
that.
and time, you can apply that. Okay, do you agree that if you're fighting someone, he'd be in the present with you? You agree?
No.
Well, what do you mean no? Like if I'm fighting someone, he would obviously have to be in the present with me. I can't literally like punch somebody back in time. That's dumb.
That happens all the time in fiction. What are you talking about?
In fiction, sure. Dog. I'm applying a hypothetical situation here. So do you
Well,
think that if you fight
this is a
someone,
fictional scenario.
okay, wait, but you never applied
Like,
why your character would be.
okay,
Wait, wait.
your previous argument was literally utilizing the fact that different fictions use the word dimension differently to refer to different like sized realms. Like, why are you trying to why are you trying to why are you trying to limit this to freaking like real life ideas first and
I'm
foremost
not.
now?
I'm just saying that you never applied why your character would be like a
Okay,
vegetable species.
if you're not, you can't go back on this like assertion that led us to this point, it's like for the sake of this argument. Like your
NTR,
original
you wait,
assertion
wait,
was
wait.
utilizing the fact that different fictions are going to use fucking different
NTR,
like
you
their dimension
yourself said
differently.
your character literally couldn't like mess with them because he was like throughout time and space. Therefore, you had
Oh,
to do it
I did
conceptually.
not say that. Whoa. Calm down, calm down. I said they can't mess with him because he's super dimensional. You're the one who asserted because he's throughout time and space. That's a completely different statement.
Okay, because he's super dimensional, right? So you realize
Yeah.
that he's throughout time and space. So how are they able to like hit him if he's like in the past, present, and future at once?
They have immeasurable speed, sure. That's fine.
They have measurable speed? Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Why not? They dodge his attacks throughout
Because
time and space.
one, okay, wait, wait. Do you agree that immeasurable speed beings that would have like a dimensional travel type thing. They would have that inherently.
Dimensional in sense of what?
Dog, if you're traveling throughout times like the future, past, and present, you like inherently have like a dimensional travel ability.
What type of dimensional travel?
What do you mean?
What type of dimensional travel? Like
You'd obviously be
what kind of
okay. You'd
dimensions are they
be able.
what kind of
Okay,
dimensions are they traveling through?
okay, you'd be able to enter different times and spaces. That's fine.
Times and spaces. I mean, you can just have immeasurable speed to go throughout time, but we can't like go to different universes. That's fine. Like they don't have to have dimensional travel in that sense.
What do you mean?
Like they can just be able to go throughout time, but not throughout
Okay,
different spaces. That's fine.
okay, that's fine.
Like
So,
the universe is throughout all of the universe is all of space and time, but it's like one space. Considered like by
okay, that's fine.
definition.
Okay, that's fine. So you're saying that your character is unable to be interacted with because he's extra dimensional. So
Yes.
okay. So what are you applying this to again? Like you're
I'm
saying that
applying this.
dimensions and like contextually would just mean like a higher space or just a parallel
Yeah,
dimension, right?
by Eggman's own by the consistency of Eggman's own use of the term dimension, right? He's either referring to spatial dimensions or parallel worlds, right? And in this context, he refer in this in the context of what you're talking about, right? It can't just be different smaller realms because Eggman like has never within the series used dimensions in that way, right? And
Okay, so
it's
how
just
are you applying
inconsistent
it?
for him too because he's like a scientist. He likes hyperfixating and shit like that. But yeah.
Okay, wait. So how are you applying this? Are you saying that a dimension within Sonic's universe can't be like can't contain another dimension? Is that what you're
It
saying?
can't. Yeah, I'm saying that it can't just be like less than universe-sized realms. Yeah,
What? I'm sure this happens within Sonic that they actually
prove
have
that.
universes. Well, I'm not
Prove that.
claiming. I'm saying I'm pretty sure that happens. But
Okay, why are you stating it anyway? Continue then.
okay, so I'll say that within your series, right? When it comes to like the dimensions things, you're saying that they can't occur naturally. Okay, that's fine. That can also be like an impressive thing that he's able to create like this thing, this realm that's outside of like the normal
Yeah, but
universe. Because
I wasn't talking about the fact that Eggman could create. I'm talking about the fact that Eggman describes it as that. Like
what?
you're going back to Eggman. You're going back to the fact that it's impressive that Eggman could create it. I'm talking about the fact that the Eggman defines the quality of the dimension as transcending dimensions, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm saying that okay, it being external, him creating it and being external are both impressive qualities. Like I don't know what you have to like understand. Like you literally can't create like a normal person, or at least
Mm-hmm.
within Sonic. I know normal people literally can't create dimensions.
Ichi. Stop referencing people creating shit. I'm not talking about the quality of being created. I'm talking about the quality of the realm itself,
I know.
right?
I'm talking about both, nigga. It's not
Well,
hard to
stop talking
understand.
about the first one is irrelevant. Stop like
But
it's
wait. The
irrelevant to this
first one is
debate.
wait. The first one is definitely relevant because it ties into the second one. I don't know
Okay,
what you're on
when
about.
does Eggman ever reference like the fact that him creating it is impressive?
Him creating it just would be impressive inherently. Are
Okay,
you saying
well,
that people with wait.
that's not what Eggman's talking about though. That's my problem.
NTR, are
Eggman's
you
not
saying
talking.
people within Sonic can create universes on the spot?
Okay, just quote when I said that right now.
No, I'm asking if you think that, nigga. Do you think
No,
they
like,
can do that?
I said it several times, so obviously I had to have said it outright for you to like it's continue asking that dumbass question, bro.
Okay. So you don't think that. So obviously the quality of him creating it would be impressive. And it being a dimension that transcends other dimensions or being external would also be impressive due to the fact that normal people can't create them. It ties into one of another. Like it's not hard to understand. I mean, NCR, we've been on this point for like 30 years. We can like move on.
Yeah, we can just we can go to conclusion on this. Tamaki.
You're yeah. So
You like monkey dick up your ass. I got a number.
yeah, like we don't need to get into like you're a slave, nigga. You don't need to get into that.
Cotton picking is a hobby for you, not a job.
Yeah, you don't need to get into this racism. Anyways, as I was saying, Tamaki, you can judge the point. I don't think we need to make conclusions. Oh my god, he called me a Mexican. I'm literally black.
Fucking jigaboo.
What?
What?
He's being racist. Like it's bad.
All right. So what's the next point?
Ichi calling me racist is crazy.
Yeah, you should start with your next point.
Oh, is this all the scaling you were gonna give for your character, NTR?
Nah, it was an extent. It was a part of it.
What was like the next thing? Was it like the super dimensional thing?
Yeah. Next thing was super dimensional. They couldn't beat Solaris because he was super dimensional, even though they had the power of the Chaos Emeralds. And then obviously Sonic ends up scaling to the End, who is infinitely above Solaris. You want scans for that?
So you're like infinite 6D if your last point goes through. Yeah. But if your last point doesn't go through, it'd be like infinite 5D or like infinite 40. I don't know.
5D. Yeah. Calm down, nigga.
What the? I mean, I won't go against like the infinite 5D style. I guess I'll scale my character in AP. Let's see. So let me find it. So there's like infinite worlds, right? Hold on. Infinite worlds. These worlds are obviously universes, as you can see in the panel. Like don't be dumb.
Sure.
Okay, here's infinite worlds. Let's see. The Demon Lord factor transcends dimensions. You find it.
Ironic.
No, hold on. Am I tripping? What channel is it in? Oh, it's an AP. I'm dumb. Lord factor transcends dimensions. It means transcend in this context would be talking about higher dimensions because the Demon Lord factor is it like an attribute attributed to a person rather than like a realm. The Demon Lord factor is something Arata has, and it would be just transcendent.
Yeah, I'm not gay like you. I'm not gonna like. I don't think like that. Just go on.
Okay. So Lord factor transcends dimensions. Arata has the Demon Lord factor, and then the goddesses. Hold up, I'm retarded. Oh yeah, it's this. Goddesses are completely different, higher dimensional concepts from the arbiters or whatever, and this would be like 60.
What's the last one? Is it sending? Okay, there it is.
Yeah, sitting.
A goddess is a completely high-dimensional concept from the looks of it. In order to continue existing, we must become one with all of space, time, and space.
Streams and her tomorrow, etc. The goddesses are this, and then here's another statement that's like consistent. Let me get the other one.
Is it just like adding? Like, is it just adding on to this 6D thing? Like, if so, I don't need to see it. I agree. It's fine. I don't mind it being 60.
No, I was gonna keep going. So this guy, he beats up. I mean, not beats up, but he like says that this dude is like completely different and off compared to him, and she can't even recognize or like, and he can interact with like the goddesses, which are like 60, and she herself like confirms that she transcends dimensions, and then archives or whatever. Arata has like control over like the archives, which are like transcendent of this, by the way, which would be 70. Let me get the scan for that.
You don't know how to whistle, bro.
I don't know, so I'm practicing.
And then I'll get like the scan of what's his face scaling to archives, or archive magic. Let me find it. Where the fuck did I put it? Or retarded? No. Is it in his channel?
And translation.
Yeah.
My translation seems off. Hold on, give me a sec. It's said to exist in a higher dimension called the center of the macrocosm, a hierarchy of. Just to make sure, because it sounds dumb.
So whatever I posted the other scan showing what's his face. He's able to connect to the archive of Superbia as an administrator, and the it says all Superbia spells command all the archives, so that would be like 7D. That's fine. If I get that off. And then if you get off your, so yeah, you'll be like 7D. My character just one shot yours because he's like higher dimensional.
Right. The main issue I have, right? Everything else is fine except just for this just for that this like let me just quote it. This one scan. It says a higher dimension and it says called the center of the macrocosm. Right? At least that the specific kanji for universe used there is like refers to like a macrocosm, right? If you want me to like show that, I can. Give me a sec.
Yeah, what do you mean? Higher dimension called
so
the center.
Essentially, yeah. So the only issue I have with that is it says the higher dimension is called, right? So it's referring to this dimension, a specific thing that's named something, which implies that it's not just just referring to like regular spatial dimensions. That's just like obviously you can establish within context why it would, but I'm just saying like that, like the way the sentence is structured presents it as something else internally.
Okay, you're saying
that's a slight issue. You can just like, yeah.
Okay.
The way the sentence is structured implies it is different, right?
Okay,
it's different from the way from the other statements there, which are way more blatant, right? Which is why I don't have an issue with them.
Yeah, hold up. Let me find it. Where the fuck is it? Oh my god, I haven't used this verse in like 30 years. Is it in verse knowledge? Yeah, it probably is. Okay, here's some support. So in this scan, it talks about how like the clouds are like an even higher plane than the archives, which goes to show that the archives themselves will be in a higher plane conceptually, and this could be supported by
what's useful about being in a higher plane?
Okay, so if it's contextually talking about how it's in a higher plane, and another scan backing up, like it's called like a higher dimensional thing, it's more likely to say that it would be a higher dimensional. We can like it would be
my issue. Yeah,
it would be probable to say this, that it would be high dimensional rather than it being like this thing that's just like in the center of the macrocosm that's like ass or whatever. There's other things supporting this, that magic itself allows you like interact with higher dimensions too. So
the issue I have is that the second scan doesn't say it's a higher dimensional thing. The second scan says it's a higher dimension that exists, that is not exists. It says a higher dimension that is called, right, the center of the macrocosm. So it's referring to it as a higher dimension called something, not a higher dimensional realm called something. That's my problem. It's not being referred to as higher dimensions.
You think a higher dimension wouldn't be like a higher dimensional realm? Like what? What do you mean?
I don't think a higher dimension in of itself is a higher dimensional realm. Because that's not how the word dimension works. Or spatial dimensions work. Spatial dimensions aren't like there's not something that's just called the fourth dimension and it's just 4-dimensional in context to like the third dimension. That's not, dimensions are like a stack of multiple spatial dimensions that add on to the mass of an object, right? And make it that big, right? So a 4-dimensional thing specifically needs to have 4 dimensions, right? So 4 spatial dimensions. It's not a 4th dimension that is just 4-dimensionally big, right? So when it says it is a higher dimension, that implies that it's one singular dimension that is called something. Right? They even give it a title other than spatial dimension. They call it the center of the universe. Right? That's my issue.
Yeah, I'm saying that. Okay, in context, they're talking about like how this higher plane, and then in the same scan, it says like it's a level unrecognizable by the human brain and certainly unreachable by the living body. And we know within the series that magic itself allows you to like confirm the existence of higher dimensions. I can get the scan for that too. It allows them to like interact with higher dimensions, and they're still unable to interact with this.
I mean, it could just be higher in a sense that's uninteractable in a sense that isn't like spatial dimensional. Like, that's fine.
What do you mean? Like literally,
It can
people
just be
can use
higher.
higher dimensional
It's called a
language.
higher plane, but plane can refer to so many things other than freaking dimension, right? In fact, like, and then it's just called, and it just said, okay, well, they can't interact with it, even though they're able to interact with higher dimensional things. Well, it can just be unable to interact in a way that's different from just being dimensional, right? Like they,
what would you
it's
suggest that would be different? Like, what do you mean?
it says to be different. It could just be different. Like it doesn't. We don't need like a specific quality that's stated. Is they can't interact with it, right? So how would they know? Right, that's the problem.
Wait. The quality of it is that okay? So if these people are able to interact with higher dimensional things and they define it as like this higher plane, and then even then they go on to say it's a higher dimension, it's more probable to say that it would be a higher dimension, and it is to say that it would just be like this other quality that adds
No,
extra.
okay, I'm fine with it being a higher dimension. I just don't think the higher dimension means higher dimensional.
I'm giving like circumstances on why it would be probably higher dimensional because we see people who are able to interact with higher dimensional things can't interact with like this thing because at this point that's like this much higher, and then these clouds which are on like this even higher plane describe it as like, oh yeah, this is like a high plane in of itself. So we can go down the probability of it being like higher dimensional is more than likely because what you're saying adds like extra assumptions. But if you
No, it
want,
doesn't. Mine's going based off like the actual statement itself. It's saying that it is a higher dimension by the bare bones of the words you sent. Right, a higher dimension exists. Even if it says universe, a universe or macrocosm is fine, but the specific kanji is for macrocosm, right? So it says a higher dimension, like a singular dimension that is called. The fact that it is called something different from spatial dimensions after already being stated in a way that makes it like that like that isn't how spatial dimensions function. The fact that it is then given a title, a name that individualizes it as its own object or dimension, right? Like it further adds to the context of what I'm saying that they're just referring to it as just this higher plane or realm that just exists like beyond what they can interact with in a way that isn't necessarily dimensional because they go out of the way to specify that it's its own thing, right? Like, and
okay,
then
wait.
when you say like, and just because they can interact, just because, and you're on your point about the fact that they can interact with higher dimensional thing, that's fine. There are things that higher dimensional beings cannot interact with that aren't necessarily like dimensional or like higher dimensional in nature. Like, I don't think a higher dimensional being can necessarily interact with a soul or something, for example, or a concept, right? Like, it obviously doesn't have to be a concept or a soul. I'm just saying like there are things that they can't interact with, right? Even though they're higher
Yeah,
dimensional, that's
these
fine.
people are able to interact with like concepts, higher dimensions, like spirits, etc. It is more likely to say
That's why I said as an example, so that's not relevant. Anyway, continue.
no. I know. I'm saying that okay. So if these people are able to interact with like conceptual things, they can interact with spiritual things. They're also able to interact like the physical body, obviously. So it's more likely to say that, and they themselves have magic, which allows them to draw power and like interact with higher dimensions. It's you can likely draw from the conclusion that this thing, even though it gives it like this name or title, it could just be this title or this thing that is in a higher dimensional plane. Therefore, they can't interact with it, or at least
Okay,
normal
I don't
maggots.
think higher dimension. Okay, so okay, the problem is that the only other descriptor that you give calls specifically, unlike every other statement you've shown for like the scaling for the series, the only other descriptor for this realm calls it a higher plane, right? Which honestly, to me, just I'm looking at how the original statement you used to argue this point is positioned, right? It's going out of its way to position it something different from just a higher dimensional realm because of a higher plane to be more vague, right? To be more like mysterious because they don't actually understand why they can't interact with it. Like that's fine. Like Occam's razor just shows that like if we just go by just how like the sentence is structured and just like the only other piece of context you've provided, nothing really establishes that it would be higher dimensional, right? The quality of them being able to interact with higher dimensional things doesn't add to that either. They can just be not able to interact with a specific type of plane. That's fine. Like I don't think there's more to add to this. You can go to conclusions after you say your next thing.
Okay. So I'll say that Occam's razor would more likely support me in this case because I think that my explanation would be more simple due to the fact that called it a higher dimension. They go on to say that's a higher plane, which would amp the probability of it being just a higher dimensional thing. You yourself goes on to say that it's like this thing that, or it could just be a different characteristic that they're unable to interact with, which I say that they're able to interact with like conceptual, spiritual, physical things, and even higher dimensions, yet they still find this thing unrecognizable. So it's more probable to say and more simplistic to say that it would be higher dimensional here. So
Okay.
yeah, we can definitely go on to conclusions on this point. If I win this point, and you lose your other point, then I definitely won. That's fine. I don't know if anyone's recording. Oh, wait. You can have Tamaki judge, I guess. Yeah. The debate's practically over. That's fine.
You want to go over anything else like hacks or speed or win conditions?
I don't think we need to like go over anything else because this point it's literally like kind of makes if you win your point, you win. If I win my point, I win. It's like I don't know.
Is your verse just like lacking in hacks and speed, bro? Like what's up with the why you I'm so confused.
We don't talk about the speed of my verse.
Oh no. No. Do not tell me this is like versus like MFTL or something, bro. Please do not tell me that's like MFTL.
We don't talk about. We can talk about hacks, but we don't need to get into speed of my verse.
Maybe we should. I think we should keep going, bro. Hold on. Let's continue this debate. Hold on. I think it'll be fun.
We don't need to get into the speed of my verse, buddy.
I think we should get into the speed. What do you think, Tamaki? Should we get into speed?
No. We don't need to get into speed, buddy. That's not what we need to do.
I think we should get into speed and then hacks, bro.
It's up to you, niggas, bro. Now you're concluding, you're finishing, keep going.
Yeah, like I think we need to get into speed and then hacks, bro. Like, what do you think?
I think my hacks is just like a bunch of conceptual shit and you get one shot. That's fine.
Much conceptual shit. I have a character who's acorporeal, like whose nothingness it compares into concepts, and Sonic can interact with him. So
I think you just died for the concept of death getting put on you, but that's it.
What NTR said not matter.
Oh yeah. Anyways, I forgot to say your win con would obviously be like one shot, right? Because like dimensional, like infinitely high, infinite 6D.
What if you both win your points? Then what?
Then he would what? Then he would be infinite 6D, and I would be infinite. I would be 7D, and he'd lose.
Why would I lose? What about speed and like hacks? We haven't gone over that yet.
What? Get your ass out of here, buddy. That's not
why.
What we're
Come
do,
on,
buddy.
let's go over speed and hacks.
Nah, Bud said, you know what? What about speed and hacks when the character is 7D and my character is 6D? Like you're.
What if I just like I don't know? What if I just interact with something with an aspect of you that you've never trained, and then you just insta die because it's beyond your concept?
He started ratting. You're right.
How is that ratting? It's beyond. Hey, whoa! How is that ratting? Right? It's an aspect of you that's so acorporeal. It's beyond your concept. And I can just one shot it, and you die.
Nah, you yourself admitted your character literally can't beat up people that are higher dimensional. Get your ass on somewhere. Nobody. That's not what we're gonna do.
You gotta stop the cap. No, like, come on. So wait. So you accept that Sonic is like immeasurable and you're like MFCO. That's fine, right? Since you're.
I think my character. No. I think my character's like baseline immeasurable. I just think Sonic's faster than like baseline immeasurable.
Oh yeah, true.
Yo, Ichi.
What?
Yeah, wasn't you talking hella shit? So you want to debate?
What? What do you want?
What?
Do you debate?
We can do high tier crossbows like you guys just did. What character do you want?
That was not high tier crossbows.
No, it was not high tier
crossbows. We can just do crossbows. Sure, we can do that.